Me.
All right, we have our soon-to-be consultant. Usually, after promotions happen, then I bring some consultants on and like, hey, talk about your journey. But, we got word, Zach, that you hit your numbers and there's a
Yep.
big party coming up in Dallas and you're going to be promoted to organizational consultant in Dallas, Texas. So pre-congratulations. I don't know if there's anything you could do to screw it up to make it not happen. Is that even a
I
possibility?
had shot a couple businesses down, but no, I think we're locked. We hit it a few weeks ago, and we'll do the celebration at national conference.
And you could always miss a flight or something like that. Like there's always something that could happen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Big tornado rips through like that.
I'll
I
be
should be
there.
nothing.
I'm
Should be
flying
nothing.
in early. I'm flying in early.
Yeah. Now, I remember Sebastian as he's making a run in 2019 for senior consultant. He goes, Hep, there's nothing that can stop me, on the road to becoming a senior. And then all of a sudden COVID happened. And I'm just looking at him like, dude, you jinxed the entire country, the entire
He,
planet,
he,
with your like nothing can stop you thing.
he didn't knock on wood.
He didn't knock on wood, exactly. So Zach, just tell us a little bit about your journey, and then I've got a handful of questions for you. But how long you been in the business? Did you ever
Yeah.
plateau at some stage, and then how'd you get out of it? So just kind of give your journey on the road to becoming a consultant.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for having me on again, Jamie, by the way. Always happy to hop on and talk to your guys. But I started off in Eric Chapman's office in Baltimore, Maryland in 2015. So I am 10 years on the dot, pretty much, like entry level to consultant. So I don't know if that's really good. I don't know if that's the scenic route. I think getting promoted to consultant at all is great, right? But yeah, I started off on Verizon residential, and I've been a residential guy my whole career. All my deals are on res. I've always been a res rep. I've experienced pitching B2B and retail and working events, but as far as like actually being on the program, always been a res guy. And it's interesting. Anytime I've gotten to a new level, I've gone really fast and then I get stuck for a period of time until I personally evolve as a man, right? Just interesting, right? Like when I came into the business, I got going. I'm like a kind of a slow starter, and then I go really fast, and I get stuck, and I have to change, and then it happens. It's actually been like that all the way to consultant because I was like the worst trainee. But then 4 weeks went out, and I started high rolling everybody. 4 week in, 5 weeks, I started smoking everybody in the office, and then I started building a team. And I wasn't amazing at that, but once I was very bad in the very beginning, and then I went really fast. Like in 6 months, little less than 6 months of being a new guy, I had 4 first-generation leaders and 8 total people on my team. Right, so I was actually like, I'm about to be an assistant manager, like really quick, and I got literally stuck there for a year. A whole year, I would fluctuate. Assistant management standards. I was very comfortable because I was like the top guy in a consultant's office, and he was running the Verizon program. So it was like a comfortable place to be until I think that's what it is. You get so sick of where you're at, you get pissed off and you want to change it. You get pissed off enough that you're going to change your routine, your habits, and your mindset to level up. And so it's interesting for like a whole year, I had fluctuated from 2 to 11 people on my team, and that was very, that was a good testing period for me, as it is for anybody when they get stuck in a spot. But then I leveled up. I remember what made me level up was just talking to this girl as like another top leader with me. Like we got leaders pins and we were like just doing a one-on-one or whatever, right? And then she was like, "Oh," she was an assistant manager about to be an owner, and she's like, "Oh, you're not promoted yet? You're still a leader? I thought you were assistant manager by now." And I'm like, damn, it's bad Jones effect, right? So that Jones affected me. I got to get my shit together and get promoted, right? So I hit assistant management, then I went really fast there, right? So assistant management, I went from hitting those numbers, and I never went backwards. I never dequalified. I got 20 plus people on my team, got promoted out, opened up my office in September 2017 in Chicago. I switched programs from Verizon to AT&T residential, which was pretty different because there weren't a lot of people in Eric's organization that had done AT&T, right? So that was an experience. I loved Chicago. I'm not there anymore. I was there from 2017 to 2021. And then I moved to Columbia, South Carolina. So that's where I'm at now. But when I opened up as a rookie, I ran like the worst office in the campaign. It's like I was like, I remember at one point I was like, I'm number 70. There's like 85 owners, right? And I'm like, that's crazy, right? And just a little bit of adapting to the new program. I wasn't doing all the right things that I should have been doing as a rookie. There's nothing to blame for that besides myself, right? And it was actually a good story as Eric came to my office to visit, and he's like, you guys need to call your shot. And it's actually crazy. He said, you have to tell yourselves you're going to go for the whole thing and be the number one office on the program. And we're like, okay, sounds good. He's like, say it. Like, we're going to be the number one office on the program. Like, everybody say it. He made like the whole office, which is like 5 of us, say, we're going to be the number one office on the AT&T program. Just no one believed that at all, right? And he went so far to call Brandy Park. He's like, I'm going to call Brandy and you're going to tell her. I'm like, this is mortifying, right? Brandy Park, obviously huge consultant, was running the AT&T program at that time. And Eric calls Brandy. I'm like, don't pick up the phone. She picks up the phone. I'm like, damn it. And then Eric's like, I'm here with my rookie deal, Zach, stud new owner. He has something to tell you. And she's like, okay. He's probably thinking like, I don't even know who Zach is. And I was like, hey, Brandy, Zach here. Hope my bother. Just want to let you know I'm going to be the number one office on the AT&T program. And she's like, that's great. And then we hung up the phone. And 6 months later, we were the number one office on the AT&T program. We broke the record for most sales ever done in a month on AT&T ever at that time. They broke it like a few months later. The program was hot at that time, but that was like pretty crazy turnaround, right? Like I'd gotten my shit together and started hitting the field, training guys myself, and then we turned up. I went from like 5 guys, and I was at 10. And then May hit right around this time, 2018. And I had like 50 people in my office. I banked $100,000 in like less than 90 days. I went from like a dwindling bank account to 100K saved in the business in like a summer. And I was getting a lot of accolades and props, and that was cool, right? And then I got stuck again. Program changes. I didn't get a deal out with that massive. I got a 50K wires, like my biggest, and banked 100K and all these wins, and then I got stuck right there again. I didn't promote a deal. I didn't promote any deals until COVID. So I went 2019. I was like rebuilding my office, like building it the right way. Brought in my now wife, Manissa, right, who's a manager, to be my recruiter. And we were starting to about to get Mario promoted to assistant manager, and then COVID happened, right? And COVID was crazy. And I know a lot of you guys were probably around for that, but we didn't know what we were gonna do. My wife, we were just found out like in January 2020 that she was pregnant, and then COVID happens in March. And we were scared shitless, right? Now, thankfully, Sidcore and our clients, AT&T, and they stepped up and took care of the offices. Thank God, right? What a great team of partners we have. And I worked really hard during the COVID lockdown. I did not stop recruiting. I let everyone stop recruiting. I was interviewing myself like crazy. I was working the guys like 30 plus hours on Zoom a week, drilling them, getting them really good. Cause I'm like, if I'm paying you, like we're working, right? Jamie ran these development calls. I have all these calls that Ed Cunliffe was hosting, and I was on all of those calls. I actually still use Sebastian's video from that COVID calls in my orientation, I used that one of the videos from the COVID calls in my hiring today, right? I appreciate Sebastian for that, right? And we got really good when we got back out to work in May. We blew up #1 in the program because we had a goal. My wife and I were like, we're going to be present parents and run a good business, right? And it's like, you got to work when you're running a company, but there actually is one point where it's better for you to step away. And that's when you have an assistant manager, right? It's like, it's actually good for your business to not be there all the time at that point, because it lets the guy run the show. So our goal was like, we're going to have an assistant manager before we have the baby, right? And another freaky thing, kind of like the Brandy story, we set that goal. We were like obsessed with it in March. We made that goal. Like, we are doing it, right? We're promoting an AM before we have our kid, and her due date was early August 3rd was her due date. She was born July 30th, right? And so we're thinking like, we don't even know if we're going to get back to work at all. So it's kind of a crazy goal to say when you don't even know if you're ever going to get back out there. But that's the thing, is you're either committed to your goals or you're interested in your goals, right? And it happened to the nose, on the T. Like, it was crazy. Like, Nate Weber hit his assistant management numbers, and then that night, wife's water broke, and we took her to the hospital, had the kid the next day, like to the day, hit the goal, right? And promoted, and we've just been smoking things since then. Hopefully I've learned my lesson about getting stuck in places. I think having a great life partner, right, person you're married to, is really important. I don't think she lets me stay stagnant where I get stuck, right? So I've gone from five. I went from 5 people in March 2020 to consultant, and no outside deals. 5 COVID reps to consultant, right? We promoted a deal in 2020. Nate, Mario in summer 2021. He took over Chicago. I moved to South Carolina, took a move crew with me, promoted 2 deals on the same day in May 1st, 2022. Promoted Gabby to Baton Rouge and Aaron to Little Rock, Arkansas. So I pretty much did 4 deals, like boom, boom, boom. Got promoting owner of the year. Did the speech in Dallas at the same hotel, I believe, that I don't know if it was the Lowe's, but doing the consultant speech in Dallas is pretty cool, right? It's like a same. I don't know if I'm doing it at night, the speech, but very similar parallels there. And yeah, I have 6 first-gen owners, 2 second-gen, and we've been growing the org. Right now, we're doing really well as an office. It's got like a 95K wire. So this is the best I've ever done, like running an office. So that's where we're at now. It's the whole story. And there's some, like, hopefully answered some questions in there, Jamie, in that whole spiel.
Oh, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
You're impeccable with your timing. I mean, that's one thing we can say about you, right? Like, you promote an assistant manager and then water breaks immediately thereafter. So your timing is unbelievable. You and our new Pope have something in common. You and Pope Leo, he's from Chicago. So you spent time in Chicago. So you got that for you.
First American Pope.
First American Pope. That's right. And so one thing in the preparation too, like you're very much like the bonus really drove you. Like you're motivated on that bonus. So you want to kind of talk about that a little bit? Like, all these incentives are thrown at us, but when a bonus is on the line, like you're running.
Yes. I was like that as a rep, right? So when Eric would throw a bonus in the office, I would usually win it, like almost every time. I would like double down on my efforts and, maybe call that strategic. I don't know, but I just believe in myself. I know I can get the job done at any time, but having an extra carrot, I'm just going to get paid more or get more with the same work I usually do, right? I'm like, if I double down, I get more bang for my buck, right? So I was going for this $1 million bonus that it's being thrown, right? And I knew the timing. I'm like, we're growing, and we started picking up revenue faster than I thought. But I'm like, we're going to hit it in 2026, 2027. I think we're going to hit it this year. But I'm not trying to miss out on $1/3 of $1 million by not having my shit together, right? So I was very locked into that bonus, especially once I gained the confidence promoting the first couple deals, right? Getting a couple wins. I'm like, I can do this, right? So I've been doubling my efforts big time for sure with the $1 million bonus. The one that's actually really motivating is the consultant weekly bonus, or the $1 million club bonus, right? So you guys know how that works. If you get a 10K wire, if you're a consultant, you get a 10K wire, you get 1,000, 15K wire, you get 2,000, 20K wire plus 3,000. And if you're $1 million club for the year, you get 100K. And once I had a couple deals out, and I'm like, I could be a consultant. Every week I got a 20K wire. I would always get 20K wire. I'm just imagining $3,000 in a pile being lit on fire every week. That's like how I felt, right? So, because it's an every week bonus, right? So, I think that was definitely a driver, Jamie, for sure. For sure.
As it should be, like,
Yeah.
I remember as a rep, there were some hockey tickets on the line, and like you, doubled down on my effort. I wanted to go to the hockey game. And then the owner at the hockey game says to me, says, Jamie, you put in all this extra effort just for hockey tickets. You should work like this every day. And I'm like, well, you should throw hockey tickets on the line every day. So, we're kind of going back and forth on, who should do what. But anyway, if there's a bonus on the line, of course you should get it. But just to do the rough math, right? So you kind of went through that quickly, but if you're a pace setter getting 20K wires consistently, so $3,000 a week times 52 weeks is 156,000, plus another 100,000, you're at 256,000, plus 333,000 for the consultant bonus. So 256 plus 333, you're already up to like 580, plus promoting owner bonus. So you're at, let's say, 680. So it's like, you're talking $680,000 a year bonus, plus running your office, plus override. So yeah, listen, there is a lot on the line. And I like how you describe that. Like, you're just setting the money on fire by not taking advantage of it. Like, it is yours to be had. It's not like only one person can get this bonus and that's it, guys. Sorry, only the highest roller. No, everybody that hits is partaking in this. So anything you want to say just on, like, hey guys, listen, there's a bonus on the line. Everybody should be doubling down on efforts. Like, what do you say to your owners? Like, you don't want to rub any of this stuff in anybody's faces or anything like that, obviously, but how do you get your guys fired up the same way you got fired up on these bonuses?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, you can try your best to motivate people, but they're always going to do what they're going to do anyways, right? I think best thing that's always worked for me is being a great example. And I hope I inspire my guys to do something similar, right? But this $1 million bonus, when we hit 500 million in total revenue, that's when they're paying that out. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something similar at $1 billion or 750, right? I've been talking to my guys about that. You want to hit consultant. If you don't think they're going to distribute some other revenue sharing situation, right? I would bet that they would be doing that, right? So even though they may not be able to hit consultant this year, right? I'm keeping them. I don't want them to get negged out at that thought, like, dang, I could have got $1 million bonus, right? Now, all of these guys were reps in 2020. And some of them were reps, obviously, like very recently. So I'm not sure if they were, too bummed out thinking not getting consultant, but I know they're going to do something similar. And so I'm talking to them a lot about that. And when I run my opportunity meeting, which, I always do a big picture Friday where I get a guest speaker on, or I run an opportunity meeting, and I do it every week. And I think the key is when you're running your opportunity meeting, you need to run it not from sales rep to owner. You have to run it past, like, all the way to senior national consultant. That is the opportunity. And it can be a little weird running that when you haven't even promoted a deal out, right? But that's how you manifest that you're going to do it. You got to have there was a courage comes before the confidence, right? Like, oh, I'll have more confidence running that part of the meeting when I'm doing it. Well, then but you're never going to be doing it. You have to have bravery to call your shot despite not having the result yet. And that's how you get the result. Then you'll have the real confidence, right? So I think I always tell my guys, especially recently, like when you're running the opportunity meeting, you need to run them like, this is what I'm going to be doing. And you explain the consultant bonus, you explain the $1 million bonus, you explain override structure, right? Does that make sense? That's one thing I hope it helps, right? I wouldn't bet against some of these guys in my crew hitting consultant a couple years, right? That's my messaging right now.
Yeah, I mean I like how you said that, the courage comes before the confidence. Like if it makes sense to like, well, I can't speak with conviction yet because I haven't done it, so therefore I'm not going to say anything. Well, that's not helping your cause by like being all timid and shy and quiet about it. So you have to be bold and talk a big game. I saw an interview with like Jim Carrey, he wrote him, I'm sure everybody has
Yeah.
heard the story. He wrote himself a check for $10 million, when he was a struggling actor waiting tables and whatnot in Los Angeles. He'd drive up to Mulholland, look over, LA and just kind of dream of what it would be like to be a star. And next thing you know, I think when he signed on for Dumb and Dumber, he got 10 million bucks for that flick. So it's like he sort of threw it out to the universe and the universe threw it back at him. So sounds like you are used to doing the same thing, calling your shot, and you're asking your guys to call their shots, which is, I think, awesome. And I do agree, this 500 million isn't the end of this journey. I think it's really just the beginning because like, wow, like we're like I don't want to say we're a legit business. Like we haven't been legit till now,
Yeah.
but no, we're a big business. We're a force to
Yeah.
be reckoned with where, these clients, we represent a huge amount of their volume and they're at a point where they need us and they're not afraid to tell us that they need us. It's like, oh, they're not fear of lossing us. They're like, listen, we need you guys. Please, can you give us more in the budget next year? So nice spot for us to be in for sure. Um, so, obviously some of your superpowers, planning is, something you're strong with. Sales training, you say you're really strong with too. So what do you do with sales training? Like, are you the guy running it? Are you the guy inspecting it? Like, what's happening with I mean, obviously pound for pound, dollar per rep is an important stat for you, but just
Mhm.
talk a little bit about your sales training and, how you prep and plan for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Per rep average is the first point of health in your business. A lot of people say it's recruiting, but it's actually per rep average first and then recruiting, and then systems after that. Right. So I think it's really important that your rep average is strong. You need a couple killers in your office if you want to have a shot. It doesn't matter if you pour on the recruiting, you're hiring people to get trained by people who aren't killers in sales. So it's just no, they're not going to get trained by a mediocre rep and then magically become amazing themselves. They usually will be some sort of water down from the trainer most of the time, right? I don't run a lot of I'm not like in the field a ton, like training the guys in the field like that. But I usually, once I see a rep who can close sales, and I like to cherry pick and talent scout. I can't do this with every single rep, but I'm pretty good at if they have the raw materials. I can see they got a little bit of a knack for the field. I can get them really good through mindset, how to think about the field, just sales tips. Because I was a good rep myself, right? I do a lot of it, but I'm breaking their day down every night. Like I remember when Mackenzie Dixon was new. Mackenzie Dixon's one of my first gens. She's a great rep, probably one of the best reps I've ever had. She's 100K plus rep, like beast. And I remember when she made her first couple sales and I bypassed her leader and was like breaking her days down. Like when she was done her first loop, right? Halfway through the day, doing a loop break, we're breaking it down. At the end of the day, we're breaking it down, right? So I'm pretty strong there. I run a lot of the meetings. I know a lot of people don't, they like have their sales guys run the sales meetings, but I do that too, but I run a lot of them myself. And I think the key is that the overarching like messaging of your office. I'm good at getting everyone on the same page. Like, this is what we're going to be doing, right? Philosophically, like driving how we're going to strategize the field. As far as like one thing that has been working is, and I've been running this a lot on the AT&T calls. You need to know what, as the owner, you got to know what is the pathway. Like, could you go make 100K as a rep? Do you know how to do that? And then whatever the pathway to doing that, that's what you should talk about. Now, so on AT&T, for example, it's about like the tier bonuses. We have like, that's just our structure, a little less on the commissions, a little more on the bonuses, right? And the bonuses are triggered by selling cell phones and TV. And I'm pretty good at building my office. I call it like the pain and pleasure centers of like your office, like praise, like the stick, like this is bad, right? Like you get all good things and you don't get any good things, and it's all based on the thing that could get you to being 100K rep, right? So like, for example, this is obviously, you got to think of what this is on your campaign, but internet, we get paid for internet sales, but it doesn't help you with the bonus. So if I have a rep that was stubborn enough to do like 5 internet sales for $700 in commissions and sold no bonus products, I don't give them a high roller speech. I don't even say their name, right? Giving out interviews, that's like a carrot, right? You got to think about all the little things that motivate your team. Any like little levers you pull should be built around the thing that is going to get you a 100K rep on the program, right? And just talking about it like crazy, right? So we're the one of the best wireless office, if not the best wireless office every week, and we're the best TV office right now, right? Because that is the pathway to more money on this program. So everyone's program is a little different, but it's the same concept. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, Jamie, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in the pocket, like for whatever reason over the years, I've heard, people say things like, well, I don't want to run a sales office. I want to run an opportunity office. But if you have a really poor dollar per rep, what type of opportunity office are you running exactly? Like to run a great opportunity office, you have to be proficient at sales. So I love going into offices and watching effective sales training, and I'm just kind of nodding my head like, you add some gas to this fire, you add some recruiting to this fire, and you're going to blow this thing up. And obviously you've been doing that, Zach. So
yeah, you can't, first of all, you can never, there used to be a theory, like, I don't make my top guy the sales guy and try to get him to learn how to recruit. I find good recruiters and I teach them how to do sales. Like, okay, right? And I get it. That is true to a degree, but I've seen owners who are like good recruiters, but they never like unlocked that like tier of fucking beast Kodiak bear mode in the field. And those owners get fucking cooked when the program changes. They quit. They don't actually, they start believing their guys. You start believing your guys, you're done. You have to be strong enough and so confident in your own sales ability that you control the narrative, right? I've gone through a bunch of campaign changes and I've always worked through them because I know how to adapt. And I got that confidence in the field.
mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of owners, they start blaming the program, they start blaming the market or whatever. And it's like, it's because they actually think it's hard. There's nothing you can't once you start thinking it's hard, you're done. Right. So I think that's a huge thing. And then yeah, if your per rep dollar amount's not good, like what opportunity are you really providing? Like getting them making money fast buys you time to break down the opportunity to them. I need, if you can get them making money, dude, everyone's open to like, oh, this is a great opportunity when you're making 2K a week. But then you start talking about an opportunity and they're like, well, I made $400. That doesn't sound real. And then they're telling their parents, right? Their girlfriend, I have this great opportunity. Like, what was your paycheck? It's like $500. It's like, okay, like that doesn't line up. Does it make sense? So that's why I think sales training is so important.
Yeah, that's great, Zach. We're aligned that way, my friend. We're aligned. And so, last question I have for you, and you can say, listen, it's a surprise, come to Dallas and find out, but you've got your song picked out, I assume. You know what you're walking up to. Do you have it all figured
Still
out?
trying to pick this. No, no, I'm still trying to pick the song. I'm going back and forth, so I don't have that picked out yet, but it's gonna be lit. Y'all will
Sounds
like it. I have a few options in my head. It'll be a surprise for you guys though.
awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we look forward to celebrating you, and obviously, we're hoping. Maybe hope is the wrong choice of words. It seems like it's inevitable, but looks like Brendan Fulkerson's going to join you on stage. Obviously,
Oh, that's awesome.
the NatCons are different times, but it's going to be same week. But I think this year collectively we're pacing to have 12 consultant promotions, which will be a
Yeah.
new record in itself. Like, wow, every month there's somebody crossing the line to becoming an OC. It's like, I mean, we're on fire right now, man. That's kind of what's happening all across the country, Canada and the United States. And at some point in time, we're going to be a big international business where it's like, oh wow, what are we doing in Europe and India and
Yeah.
Africa? Like, just a matter of time. I think we all see that writing on the wall. So thanks for joining us here
Absolutely.
today, Zach. And
Of
again, we look
course.
forward to partying with you in Dallas.
I'll see you guys in Texas.
Okay, sounds
Have a
good.
good
See you
one.
guys.